falling temperatures to around 20 or so by the end of the day. Northwest winds will be gusty. Tonight, skies clear out. 10 below zero on the low, but thanks to a northwest breeze, wind chill around 20 below. On Thursday, sunshine, but still cold, near 10 above. That's a forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently 35 degrees.
And a reminder, the comments made by the meteorologists at severestudios.com do not necessarily represent the desired forecasts of the staff. It is the noon hour on a Wednesday. My name is Tommy Lang. It's time for Senior Talk, which is brought to you by Senior Benefits and the Solon American Legion. And here is your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tommy. And trust me, I don't think there's a senior out there who likes this 10 below zero deal tonight. I can't imagine. That's why half of us beat it down south. That's for sure to avoid this. Well, listen, folks, excuse me, a great Wednesday afternoon. It is what it is. It's December. A little early for what's going on outside, but it's December in Iowa, and we have to face the music. Sounds like this thing is kind of a short-lived deal. Friday we could be back to normal. We'll just have to deal with it. That's what we do best. Adapt and move on. All right, welcome to Senior Talk. Great day to be a senior and a great day to be with you here today. Thank you all for listening and taking time out of your busy day. You're a senior or a senior gonna be maybe someday. That's who this radio program is aimed at for sure. I'll do my best to bring a lot of ideas every week that might cover important aspects of becoming or being a senior, and we'll have a little time for some history as well, of course. And so pull up a chair, grab a sandwich, and an ice cold root beer, and let's see what we can cook up. My name is Rex Brandstatter. I'm a 76-year-old real estate broker, and I like to meet, talk, and work with seniors. And I help lots of seniors sell houses and properties, doing different things, ideas. Seniors call me a lot. And I have a senior phone number at 319-330-5534. 330-5534. You want to talk a little Iowa City, Johnson County area history? Give me a call. I'll take it if I can. If not, I will call you back. And if you need to talk about your house or your family, and you need to talk about Dad or Grandpa or Uncle Fred or something like that, and living arrangements, or maybe time for a change, or what do we do with the house, or things like that, you can trust me. I'll help you if I can. I'll let you know if I can. I'll come to your home, or you can come to my office to talk about it. Meet at the coffee shop, whatever works best for you, the family. And I do meet with a lot of senior families. Absolutely. And sometimes the senior is with them, and sometimes not, and sometimes the other way around. The kids, well, sometimes the kids are 60 and 70 years old. You never know who we're going to deal with seniors. So that's what I do. I work with trust departments of banks. I work with attorneys. I work with administrators of estates, executives of estates. That's who I deal with mostly. So that's the story. Feel free to give me a call, 330-5534. Now, the things that we hear about here on Senior Talk are designed to kind of stir the pot at your house and not step on toes, but that happens. But kind of stir the pot to get you to thinking and hopefully some action on some things, because there are lots and lots of things going on. As seniors, you know, there are just some things that we maybe have put off. There are some things that we can do, whether you put it off or not. A lot of things we could be working on, and I don't mean a lot of physical labor type thing for the most part, but I mean organization type things at your home, in your estate planning, in your properties and management and upkeep and things like that. Your vacation plans, your deals with your families and organizing that, lots and lots of things that we seniors can work on. And the deal about it is, folks, you have to do it. And you can kick the can down the road if you want, but it only cause trouble for your kids or cause trouble for your family members, and we don't want to do that. So whatever your challenges are ahead legally, a will or things like that, get on them and get them done. You need to get your house organized. You don't need to hear it from me. You know it needs to be organized and to get rid of some things. We all have too much stuff. Raise your hand if you don't have too much stuff. I don't see any hands, by the way. So that's the story. Well, listen, I've got some facts and figures about us seniors. Let's see what you think. I'm coming right out of shoot one right here. 27%, or we're going to call that 1 out of 4, of women age 65 to 74. And right at 50% of women over age 75 live alone. So 25% of women 65 to 74, sort of the prime retirement age, and women 75 and older live alone. And I think those numbers are pretty darn high. You can read into that what you want and why they live alone. I don't know the reasons, but that's what that. 30% of all seniors live alone. So 1 out of 3 of all seniors live alone. We all know a senior who lives alone, caused by a divorce or a death or something like that. Never got married, one of those things. All right. 20% of seniors have diabetes. Wow. 1 out of 5 seniors have diabetes, which means somebody in your family, if you had a Thanksgiving Day and there are 15 people there, 1 out of 5, 3 people there have diabetes. Wow. There are 500,000 of we seniors in memory care. Sad story of one of my friends. He's late 60s, mid to late 60s, now has Alzheimer's. And what a sad, sad thing. Very active young guy, great family. Now he doesn't know much about anything. All right. 75%, 3/4 of all seniors want to age in place. Age in place. Now, the deal about aging in place is you might think that's your home. And it should be. It could be your house, your apartment, your condo. It's wherever the best place is for you to be. Now, you might not realize that maybe your house isn't the best place for you to be. Maybe your house is too big and the washer dryer up on the second floor, down in the basement, or the yard's too big and you can't get it mowed and it needs a lot of work. That's not where you want to age in place. You want to age in place somewhere that's comfortable for you, somewhere where you can handle it mentally, physically, financially, all those things. It might not be where you live right now. It might take you selling your home. It might take you getting an apartment, getting a condominium, moving in with family. You better ask them first, by the way. All those things. But 3/4 of us want to age in place, but truly it might not be where you live now because of all the reasons I just started. 40% of seniors 62 and older are termed obese. So you can work on that. However you want to work on that, get with it. All right. 70% of seniors visit Facebook on a computer. 70%. Now, if you're going to be on Facebook, I'm going to give you a couple places that if you like local history, that you could visit. And you could have a lot of fun doing it, learn a lot. You can input there if you know kind of some things you could add. And that would be a site called Our Iowa Heritage. Just go to Facebook and you can search their Facebook page. And when you go to their Facebook page, you can find your way to their website. Stuff like it's a great site. It's called Our Iowa Heritage. Right. Now there's another one that's even a little more local than that one, and it's a good one too. It's called I think it's called, the official name is So You Grew Up in Iowa City /Corville. So you could just type in you grew up in Iowa City /Corville, and you'll start reading all kinds of things. These are 2 fun sites. And I visit one or the other at least maybe once every other day kind of thing, a lot. And once you get to, if you friend them and like them, what they call like them, you'll get their posts, and there's a lot of interesting stuff on there about the university in Iowa City, this and that and the other thing. It's just a wonderful place to go. So Our Iowa Heritage, and So You Grew Up in Iowa City and Corville. And these sites are managed. You can't just go in there and ramshackle your way through and think stuff up, but have a good look at it. They're fun. Seniors are generally happier than all other age groups. Sorry, Tommy, but seniors are generally happier than all other age groups, except elementary kids. The elementary kids are having a hoot. They're having a good time. They're thinking going out and jumping up and down in the snow and having a good time. And we seniors are thinking about staying inside and saying, the hell with it, I'm not going to go outside. Therein lies the difference, all right? 57 million Americans are age 65 and older. Now, you thought traffic was slow around here. Have you been to Florida? I would think that knowing that 57 million Americans are 65 and older, that creates a huge advertising target. That age group, which I'm in, maybe a lot of you are in, obviously, a huge advertising target. What do I mean by advertising target? Well, they could advertise denture cleaner. They could advertise hearing aids. They could advertise glasses. They could advertise Metamucil, all kinds of things. places there where you can go get medical places for your home and no-slip handles and bathtub, walk-in bathtub. A huge market, and that's where some companies, of course, make their money. So that's the story. What are the main concerns of seniors? Now, number one is our health, for sure. But of that health, what are the main concerns? Number one is heart disease. Oh, yeah. Number one killer. Number two is cancer. And cancer is nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. But they have made a lot of strides in cancer. A lot of cancers are treatable. And we all know friends who have been through cancer and now cancer-free. They're free, and now they're treating it and things like that for sure. Type 2 diabetes. Yeah. And number four is dementia. So heart disease, sometimes that's inherited. You don't have a choice on that. Other things you might have a choice on the heart disease. Smoking is really, really hard on your blood vessels and your blood pressure, and they're in your heart. So look out. Cancer, of course, type 2 diabetes, and dementia. None of those things we want to deal with for sure. Well, a good question for you would be, you'll have to think about this one because you might not have the answer right off the bat. What invention in your lifetime is the most amazing? How about is the most useful? Is the most handy-dandy for you, the most useful for you? What invention? So I asked that guy the other day, he said, well, the garage door opener in my car. He didn't say computer. He didn't say airplanes, or whatever it was. He said the garage door opener in his car. So that's well worthy of that. Otherwise, you have to go. God, I remember when I was a kid, when we got home, my dad would just stop the car, not say a word, and it was up to either me or my brother, and he always knew which one went last for some reason. There you go. He just stopped the car. There you go. We had to get out, go open up the garage door opener. Garage door. Put the door up. He drives the car in. We'd go in the house, he'd put the door down. That's just the way it worked. We're going to go somewhere. We had to raise the garage door. He backed out. We lowered the garage door, and away we went. It's the way it was, like the fence on the farm. It's all it amounted to. Wow, interesting. The television, I remember when they delivered our first TV to our house. Do you remember here when you got your first television? Do you remember maybe, I don't know, the first shows you guys watched? But we got our first television in 1952 from Sutton Radio and TV. I remember pulling over in the streets of Coralville. They weren't paved. They were just chip and seal. And two guys got out of the truck, and they carried our television. It was an Admiral TV, black and white, of course. We didn't thunk up a color TV yet. And so there we were, and it wasn't on all the time. There weren't programs all the time, but the program I remember watching was the Milton Berle, and he'll be on in 2 weeks. Jack Benny, and he'll be on a week from next Tuesday, type of thing. I certainly remember Howdy Doody, and other shows. The Lone Ranger actually was on. I remember watching the 1954 World Series with the Cleveland Indians and the New York Giants. I do not remember the Willie Mays catch, however. So what invention? The television, that's a pretty good one, that is for sure. And of course, radio's been around long time, and radio was the most important thing in the starting after 1910 or 1920, and through the 20s and the 30s and the 40s, radio was how this country ran. Absolutely. Well, the average Social Security check is $1,925 a month, and half of those who get that check, it's the only check they get for the month. So half of the people who are on Social Security or collecting Social Security benefits are getting $1,925. That's the average check, which means of all the checks that go out, that's the average one. Now, if you took the median, that would be half of people would be lower than that, and half the people would be above that. Wow. And, of course, like I said, 50% of Social Security recipients live on that amount alone. The average age for enrolling in Social Security is 62 and a half. And you can do that all you want, folks. You can sign up at age 62 if you want it, if you need it, if you want it, if you're scared to death that it won't be there and you want to get started. Whatever your reasoning is, that's up to you. Got to have the money. You need the check. You can go. It shows at 62 you can get $1,862 or $987, whatever your decision is, make it. I will caution you that in the Social Security world, in the age world, there's a thing called FRA. We'll call it Frank Ralph Adam. FRA. Okay, retirement. Full retirement age. And that is the age at which you can take Social Security and keep working and making all the money you want. They won't tax it. If you take Social Security before age your FRA, well then they do tax that, and they cut back your benefits. So look out. So do whatever you want, but just look out. All right. The best age to enroll is at your full retirement age. We'll say most people right now are at 66.5 to 67. If you wait to age 70, you will get an extra 8% per year. So, Rex, we got signed up at 65. My FRA was 66.5. I'm going to get less. I know it. But guess what? You're going to get, the adage is he's going to get less for longer because the life expectancy is longer. We'll say the age is 82, about right. He'll get that check plus raises, hopefully every year, from age 65 to age 82. If you didn't sign up to 70, you'll get more money, but for less time because you're already 70. They've got it all worked out, folks. Just isn't Rex thinking this stuff up. So I happened to wait. I was able to wait to age 70, so I get it till I drop over, I guess. The median net worth of a senior, in other words, half are above and half are below, is $266,100. So half of seniors are above 266. That's their net worth. Not how much they make a year. Their net worth, and half are below that. Now, the leading edge of baby boomers are now 80 years old because that started. Baby boomer generation is 1946 when it started. They're now 80 years old. And me being born in 49, I'm 4 years behind that, so I'm 76. So the leading edge of baby boomers are now 80 years old, for God's sake. Wow, that's the kids who were born right after World War II and on up to 1964 is considered the baby boomers. All right. 60%, get this, 60% of seniors live within 25 miles of their original place where they grew up. 60%. 6 out of 10 live within 25 miles of their original stomping ground. How's that sound? What do you think? You're 2 or 3 were there at the house today. What do you think? Does that sound about right? Think up 4 or 5 people you know, and well, yeah, he grew up over there, and blah, 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 this or that. All right. A question for you. We are about a month into regular time, not daylight time, regular time. Are things going okay for you? Are you kind of like back to normal in your daily routines? Remember, the official advice was to just set the clock where it is and then go with the clock, not with your stomach. I'm hungry. Go with the clock. That was the advice. Whatever you choose to do, it's your business. You're seeing you make up your own mind. You don't need anybody telling you how to live. We have 18 days to go until the winter equinox. 18 days. The sun has been heading south, unfortunately, since last June 21st, and in 18 days it will be December 21st. It's going to turn around. It sits down there for just a couple days, and then it starts coming home. We're going to keep you posted. This is my first hurdle towards getting towards spring, is turning the sun around. We got to, if the roof leaks, we got to pass a hole in the roof before we can fix it. We got to get the sun starting to come this way. Now, I know it takes a long time. Well, it'll be coming this way for 6 months. But I'll tell you, that sun starts to come back up this way. It gives us a good feeling. Now, then the next thing on my list is January 1. We pass that. That means we have the holidays behind us. And then the big goal after that is to get January behind us. And once we've got January behind us, we got a fighting chance, folks. Because then we go on into some things in February, Groundhog Day and Valentine's Day, spring training. We got a lot of things. We can't even talk about those. We got to get through tomorrow night for sure, the next couple nights here for sure, and then we got to get the holidays behind us. So that's my deal. I have to take it one major thing at a time here. So right now I'm trying to get the sun to turn around, and it's going to turn around in 18 days. All right. One thing, this is from me to you, each and every one of you. I want you to be ever so careful walking on the snow and the ice. This is so very, very important. And when you go out there, if you think you're not really, grab yourself a cane, grab yourself a walking stick. There's no shame in that. There's no embarrassment in that. Do whatever you have to do not to fall on your fanny. And it's just sometimes you can't help it. That's what snow and ice are all about. I can tell you from experience at our house when my wife tripped out of the shower inside and broke her leg. It's a long, slow heal. It's a long, slow heal with a lot of ramifications, a lot of lifestyle changes, a lot of ongoing pain and suffering and changes. So you can't walk around like you're on eggshells, but just be careful. And if you need to borrow a cane or a walking stick or get one, go to it. Don't go out there. I think I can make it out to the mailbox. And kaboom. Say, I got a good one. I get that Cedar Rapids Gazette. You get it on Wednesdays, Saturday, and Sunday. So the paper boy, whoever it is, I don't know. It wasn't a paper boy like when we were kids. Somebody in the car throws it out the window. They can't even hardly get it halfway up my driveway, and I can't see it unless I go outside. So this morning I get out there, it's dark, and I put on sweatpants, my winter coat, stocking hat, gloves, open the front door, and it's laying right there. So whoever delivered this morning, thank God you finally got around to it. Otherwise, I just want to beat those people up. They're trying to get you to sell their newspaper, and they can't even get it halfway to the door. Kick their butt, I'll tell you that. Aren't these things terrible when you get to be a senior, all the things that bother you? Well, Sunday night, my wife and I are minding our own business, excuse me, and our electricity went out in our end of town for 2 hours Sunday night. So we decided that, we're going to have to either come up with some plan or we're going to have to talk to each other. And we either have to come up with something. So here's what happens at the Brandstatter out. Immediately, I go to my, like I talk all the time, I go to my cache of flashlights and a couple of Boy Scout lanterns, battery-operated lanterns, available through your friendly Boy Scout shop in Cedar Rapids. You can get them you could probably buy one of those things at Fin and Feather. Maybe Lowe's has them. Maybe Tyson's has them. Just a battery-operated thing, just enough to keep you get around the house. Well, I was sitting in a chair that has the electric foot thing. I couldn't hardly get out of the chair because I couldn't put the leg thing down. A lot of things happen. My wife, I don't allow candles in the house after 20 years as the Coralville Fire Department. We don't allow open flames in a house, so we not allowed to have candles. But she has battery-operated candles, little battery-operated. They look like they got a flame to them. I've come in the house and said, get rid of that candle, but it's not. She says it's bad. So she had 4 or 5 of those going. We had light. We read. I was reading a magazine. I listened to the radio. She was reading a book. So our house looked halfway lit up just for that room. I went downstairs in our family room and turned on the gas fireplace, got some heat going, because you never know. So we were living pretty darn comfortably. Not going to open the refrigerator or anything like dumb like that. So we're doing good. It came on a couple hours later. So that happened. So, moral of the story, get yourself a couple flashlights around the house. And so when this happens, you might want to go down to Walmart. I don't know who has these little handy-dandy lanterns. They're pretty darn nice. I've got mine via the Boy Scouts. I've got 2 or 3 different ones that we use, and just for stuff like this. Because in the Scouts, you learn what's the motto? Be prepared. Huh? And I acted like I was prepared. All right. So then my wife says, we can't even get out the garage door. I said, well, yes, you can. Remember pulling the red? Oh, that's right. She said, we can't get back in if the door's down. I said, remember where I have the key on the lockbox? Oh, yeah. So I'm all set, folks. So how about you? Are you all set for anything? Well, I'm going to call it a catastrophe. It's kind of a nuisance. In the winter, you don't want the air conditioning. You don't want the heat off very long, so you have to do your best not to open up the doors and stuff like that, and don't open the refrigerator or the freezer. Just mind your own business till it comes back on, and they're all working on it. Oh, for sure. Just have a plan. For God's sakes, have a plan. I'm always cold, the senior told me. He says, my hands and my feet, mostly. And it said here, I looked it up, as we age, our blood vessels lose their elasticity. In other words, they're a little more rigid than they used to be, which reduces the flow of blood, especially to our extremities. Well, that's kind of me. My feet are I wear gloves a lot. My hands are always cold, so I guess I'm right there. Well, what a nice surprise we had. 8 to 10 inches of snow. How nice. And it came in November. It's way, way early. And this big blast we're going to get tonight or tomorrow is going to be cold. It's way early. This is January weather. I'm in great hopes that's getting it out of his system, and maybe we'll have a nice, easy winter. But that's this Rex dreaming. All right. Well, I want to ask you a question as a senior. Do you remember putting snow tires on your car? Oh, we'll say Dad or Grandpa. I got to go down and get the car, take it down to the shop. Have the guys put the snow tires on. All right. Because remember, we all had rear-wheel drive cars. When's the last time you saw a whole bunch of college kids trying to push a car out of a ditch? I haven't lately, because we have a lot of front-end four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, and front-wheel drive cars. Everybody used to have just the rear-wheel drive cars, and we got stuck a lot. Many times as a kid, I just remember walking to school, somebody we'd push them out. In college, all the time. Well, I haven't seen that lately. I haven't seen many people jump starting a car lately. All the gas stations used to have a guy driving around on cold mornings with the charger, or you just left it running and jump start people with the hoods up. I haven't even seen that because we don't have many carburetors anymore. Everything's going to electronic ignition. Pretty neat deal. I've got a big anniversary coming up here. Not me personally, but this country. This Friday, December 5, is a huge anniversary of the repeal of an amendment. This on December 5th, 1933. December 5th, 1933. They repealed the 18th Amendment. Now, what was the 18th Amendment? Well, the 18th Amendment was passed by President Wilson, and it was known as the Great Social Experiment. The Great Social Experiment, I think it was passed in 1918, 1917, 1918, something along in there. And it was called what? It was called Prohibition, which basically said you could manufacture all you want, but you couldn't sell it. You could drink beer, but you couldn't buy it. And you could make it at your own home if you want. A lot of people did. You could make booze at your home, but you couldn't sell it. Well, that didn't stop anybody. That's how we got Al Capone and all the underground bootleggers and stuff like that. It was a social experiment, all right. Gone wild. Speakeasies and clubs and nightclubs and secret passes and the Untouchables in Chicago, the Hoods and the mob. That's because of that. So the 18th Amendment, the great social experiment, went kaput when FDR got elected. And in 1933, they repealed the 18th Amendment by passing the 21st Amendment, which repealed the 18th. So this Friday night, if you're out there, you can go have, and you don't have to have a root beer. I'm authorizing any kind you want, as long as you don't have too much. How's that sound? Celebrate the end of the passage of the 21st Amendment. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Well, I've got to ask you a real good question here. Do you ever feel like a stranger at your own bank? I'm telling you, folks, these banks, you go in there to cash a check, even deposit a check, write a check, anything, it's a shakedown. Your own bank. You write a check, or someone gives you a check, $100. They give you a check, I don't care, $100. And it comes from Mrs. Smith gives Mrs. Jones a check for $100, and Mrs. Jones goes to deposit in her bank or cash it. It's turn on the bright lights and ID. What's your name? What's your account number? Do you bank here? It's like, and that they have these things out to pardon our progress. So sorry, we don't recognize you. They don't remember your face from one day to the other. They don't make any attempt, because now these younger people know that they just have to ask these questions, which is now officially protocol. So don't feel like the Lone Ranger. Your own bank gives us a shakedown. A friend of mine got the shakedown when he tried to make a deposit. Put money into the bank. And it didn't go well for the bank in the end. He took all his money out. Several $100,000. He said, I'm not putting up with it. And he said he'd banked there like 30, 40 years. So the banks, all in the good name of security, are going about it, but they have no, I don't know. I'm not picking on any bank here. I'm just saying they have no personality anymore. How's that sound? I think that'd be a pretty good statement. The banks, people working at what they call the cage, the window, they have no personality. And they have to do it for safety reasons and safeguarding account numbers and stuff like that. All figures in there. But they're pretty routine in it, I have to tell you that. So if you feel like a stranger at your own bank, don't feel like you're a stranger or the Lone Ranger, because I'm right there with you. All right. Well, somebody was talking to me about a couple mansions. Boy, I wonder if there's ever big mansions in Iowa City. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of them. You can drive past them to see what you think. And the Close brothers, they were some big They were some big hitters. They were in the lumber business, all kinds of things. The Close brothers, M.T. and Chalmers Close, arrived in Iowa City in 1854, right before the arrival of the railroad, which got here at New Year's Eve in 1854. And their many businesses prospered because of the railroad. Their first businesses were in the 500 block of South Gilbert Street, where a candle factory, a rendering works, yuck, a soap factory, and finally a linseed oil factory. They also established, get this, I know a lot of this stuff, but they also established a large paper mill in Coralville and used the water power from the Coralville Dam. Yeah, they were out there. That is exactly right. Their mill operated 24 hours a day and used tons of straw. And a spur from the main line of the railroad ran to the factory. And the Chalmers Close Chalmers Close, one of the brothers, built his brick home at 538 South Gilbert in 1874. That's called the Close Mansion, which is later was the furniture place that was called the Mansion for that reason. And it cost Chalmers Close $15,000 to build that place. And I don't know this. I'm going to assume that included the carriage house out back, because that's how they got around back then, in 1874. So that's the Close Mansion, and it has been sold by the Skogstad family. Did sell it, I believe, to I don't know who bought it. I think maybe Johnson County or somebody bought it. So that's the story. That's the Close Mansion. That's one mansion. Now the other one is over on College and Governor. College and Governor. It's at 906 College. It's at the northeast corner of College Street and Governor. And one of the businessmen to arrive on the first train that night. The first train, his name was Thomas S. Carson. He came here from Philadelphia. Came out to Iowa from Philadelphia. He immediately opened a hardware store. And as it prospered, he expanded into a John Deere implement business. With his sons and others, he started the Iowa City, and get this, I've never heard this before. He started the Iowa City Artificial Gas Company for street lighting in 1857 and was in on when electricity got to Iowa City in 1886. Now, a lot of that was because of the overhead dam up there in Coralville. Wow. Well, you talk about a pioneer. Now, Iowa City did not get, this is called, the reason I point this out, because this is Iowa City Artificial Gas Company. I don't know what artificial gas is, but I do know that Iowa City did not get regular gas until about 1934, along in there. We had electricity long before that, 1909, 1906, I think, in Iowa City, 1909, Coralville, electricity. He built his beautiful mansion at 906 College Street. It is now known as what? You went to the university here, you know. It's the Alpha Phi Sorority. Alpha Phi Sorority. It was built 1875, and he built that great big thing for $8,000. Now, what would be the difference? Well, the Close Mansion was all brick. I'm just thinking as a realtor here. And the other mansion over the other, well, I call it a mansion, the Alpha Phi property over there is Dimension Lumber. And he bought that with profits from the sale of clover seed business the previous year. So that must have been heck of, because $8,000 was huge deal. So interesting story. So these guys were all here. Thomas S. Carson went on to be one of the proprietors of bringing electricity to here. He actually owned Iowa City Electric Company, the purveyors who sold electricity to the residents here. So Thomas S. Carson did quite well for himself. He was later a player out in Coralville. He donated land for what is now the Coralville Cemetery. Got some pretty good track records on that. I'm going to do a history of the Coralville Cemetery in the spring. I want you all to think about coming to that. It's going to be crazy. You can't believe what I've dug up. That's not the right term, what I've dug up. I didn't even think about that. But then, what I've unearthed. Well, I can't use that one here. What I've found. How about that? What I've found. On the history of the Coralville Cemetery. But Thomas S. Carson was in on the deal, for God's sake. All right. So one of the things about as being a senior, the greatest secret in life, in my opinion, is this. We never know how long we're going to be here. We don't. And when I say be here, I mean here. Living with our full faculties or living but with no faculties, that's the difference. If you're a stroke victim or an accident victim or dementia, you're here, but if you will, you're not here, okay? knowing that fact that it's so very important that we do what? That we do all we can while we can. Whatever that is. Walk, you can walk. Your best thing is at least getting to the living room or sitting up or reading a book or going on vacation and playing tennis. Whatever it is, it makes no difference. Do all of that you can while you can. Because of what? Because too late may come too soon. Oh, I used to walk every day, which, matter of fact, I do. But now I hurt my leg. Now I can't even walk. Well, now it's too late for me to keep walking. So too late may come too soon. So get out there, whatever it is, do all you can while we can, all right? And, of course, thank you, and my salute to any and all of you who have served our country, all of you are members of the American Legion, my friends up at the Solon American Legion, Iowa City Legion, Oxford, North Liberty, West Branch, Solon, North Corville, Lone Tree, all of you guys and women up at Swisher and Ely. My salute to all veterans, all the VFWs. Thank you for protecting our country, and we go forward while we can. So thank you so much. Enjoy yourself. Stay warm these next 2 days. Do whatever you can. The old saying is light the couch on fire. Let's stay warm. And tell you what, next week we're going to talk about how much closer that sun is for sure. So thanks for listening. This is Rex Brandstatter saying so long. We'll see you next time.
Senior